Second chance, second chances. Alena stood at the back of the grand hall, her fingers nervously fidgeting with the silver locket that hung around her neck. The sweet scent of fresh flowers filled the air as she watched her friend, Sarah, glide down the aisle in a white gown, a picture of joy. Looking at the couple, she couldn't help but feel a pang in her heart, memories of her own marriage swirling uncomfortably in her mind. After a bitter divorce that felt like it had siphoned away her spirit, weddings had become bittersweet affairs. As the ceremony unfolded, Elena's mind drifted. She let her thoughts wander to days filled with laughter and carefree love, a time when her heart belonged to Daniel. Their first love had shimmered with all the intensity of youth, but life and circumstances had slowly pulled them apart. Could she have done things differently? The reception was a noisy wall of laughter and music. Just as she set her drink down, she felt a familiar presence beside her. She turned to find a pair of warm brown eyes locked onto her, Daniel. Time had softened his edges, he was still handsome, but with a maturity that only experience could bring. Time had been kinder to him, and yet, a slight twinge of sadness lurked behind that warm gaze. Alena, he breathed, his voice a deep echo of the past. Daniel, she replied, the name spilling from her lips like a long-forgotten melody. Their eyes sparked with nostalgia, and suddenly, the years melted away. They exchanged pleasantries, the evening spinning around them as they reminisced about the carefree days of high school. Stories of their youthful adventures flooded back, complete with laughter, a sound long absent from Elena's life. It was surreal, this feeling of being both strangers and intimate friends all at once. As the night deepened, they found themselves tucked in a quiet corner, surrounded by soft candlelight and the distant hum of celebration. Do you ever think about what could have been? Daniel asked, his eyes searching hers for a truth buried beneath years of choices. Every day, she confessed, a weight pressing on her chest. But I'm learning to embrace the present. I'm glad to hear that, he said softly. I suppose. I've been learning, too. As the evening drew to a close, Daniel reached over to take her hand, his touch sending a thrilling spark of familiarity through her. Alena, can we meet again? I want to see where this goes. Days turned into weeks, and what began as tentative coffee dates evolved into long talks, late-night drives, and moments filled with laughter that had blossomed into something more profound. Alena found herself, for the first time in years, imagining a future that could mend the scars left by her divorce, a future with Daniel. One evening, under a canopy of stars, Daniel led her to a secluded spot in the park where their teenage dreams had first bloomed. He knelt, pulling a delicate ring from his pocket. Alena, life has taught us both that it's never too late for second chances. Will you give us a chance to build a love more resilient and real? With tears glistening in her eyes, Alena nodded, whispering a breathless, yes. They embraced, sealed with a promise to cherish what had once been lost and to nurture the love that had found its way back to them. In that moment, amidst the whispers of the night, they both knew they had been given a second chance, a rare gift worth seizing.